Okay, so this video is to demonstrate how to do the color wash background for your silhouette painting. You will need a piece of just plain drawing paper to start with. We're not going to paint onto the canvas board right away. The drawing paper is just for you to practice on. Once you're happy with the technique used on the drawing paper, then you can go ahead and take a plain white canvas board. You don't need to draw your silhouette on there yet. That's a different step in the future. You're going to want to just start with your white canvas and then paint this onto there. Feel free to use more than one drawing paper too if you're not happy with how the first one turned out. I'd rather you be happy with the end product before you get started. Okay, so what you'll need is some different colors for your background. Please use colors that mix well together. So avoid colors that are totally opposite from each other on the color wheel, like purple and yellow are complementary colors. They're across from each other on the color wheel and they'll make like a muddy color in your background. I'm going to start with a painting that would have a sunset. If yours doesn't have a sunset or a moon, you don't need to worry about this step, but in case it does, this will help you out. I'm going to start by just painting some white on my paper, which is probably a little hard to see. And I'm using the same paintbrush and using some water. So I'm using a wet brush technique. And my goal is to not mix the colors 100% so they kind of blend together, but I don't have just one big mixed up color. So that will work for my sun. Then around the sun or the moon, there's usually kind of a glow or like a light area. So to get that started, I'm just going to add some white paint. I'm using quite a bit of water on my brush around the sun, and it looks like my brush isn't all the way cleaned out. Please make sure your brushes are cleaned out before you use them. I can't promise you that when people put them away that they're 100% clean. So now I'm going to start adding my color into the background, and then when it hits the white, it'll start to be a lighter color. I'm going to start, and it's up to you how you want your colors to work. Don't worry about what the picture online was. You can make this any color that you like. The picture that you found, because you only printed that in black and white. You don't need to worry about what the color was originally. So I'm going to start with some red, and I'm going to constantly be dipping back into my water, getting some other color paint, and then I can just mix those colors in together right on my paper. So once I get into that white, do you see how the white is starting to blend? And you have to work kind of quickly when you do this because these paints dry pretty fast. I'm trying to fill in all the white area, but I still want to see the red and I still want to see the orange. I don't want it to be totally mixed in together. Get some yellow in there. And you can do straight across your paper, but then when you get to your sun or your moon, if you'd like, you can kind of blend it down and then blend the paint across as well. So I'm just constantly dipping back into my water. I'm using the same paintbrush right now for all of this. That's up to you if you want to switch between other paintbrushes. There's really not a right or wrong way to do this process, but the goal is that your background has more than one color in it and that the colors blend together nicely. If you're doing a nighttime scene, blues and purples might look pretty. You could add a little bit of black, it'll darken it up really quickly. That's up to you. If you're doing a sunset, yellows, reds, oranges look nice, or reds and pinks and purples look nice. So it's really up to you the colors that you choose. Please though, before you use a color from the pumps of acrylic paint, make sure that they are working well. Make sure there's no clogged paint in them, because if you push on them really hard, they'll kind of explode paint all over you. And that stinks because it's not washable paint. So if you do get this paint on yourself, try to wash it out right away and it should come out. Otherwise, if you unclog them first and then press really slowly, they should work out just fine. So just kind of a heads up on that. All right, good luck.